Hey, good afternoon. Oh, good evening, guys. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey. Today is October 29, 2020. And I just want to do again a reminiscing time. Again, yeah, this is my monitor that you see in front. It says swinging bridges. Let's see if I can zoom in. It's hard to tell. But the words on that says swinging bridges. It's a video that I was just watching. And Swinging Bridges is a wonderful place in Maui, Hawaii. Yes, I'm very sentimental. And as I've told you guys before in different videos, that I love October. It is my favorite season. I love the transition of the season of the leaves changing colors, and oh, I just like it. I just like it. And well, this week, um, th- this season, in 1999, I was living in Maui, and this part of the year, I was invited to this place called Swinging Bridges. And I want to tell you a little bit about this journey. And I was thinking about it all day. And I want to share you this little story about the swinging bridges and my stay in Maui. I've mentioned in the past that I was in a homeless shelter, and I was in a homeless shelter in New York and in Maui. For the first time, it was in Maui. And I want to share with you the background of that. Well, I used to first live in Queens, New York. I had my own place for a couple of years, had a job, and work got hard to find. And uh, the season was cold in New York. It was February, and it's hard for me to look for work when I'm cold. And I couldn't find work in New York. So I say, um, I need a job, and I know that I know my shortcomings, and trying to type when your fingers are cold isn't good. And so I said, I have some money saved. Let me just go to Hawaii. I thought about Hawaii before. So I had gotten a book on Hawaii and the different locations, different stores there, different places that I can look for work. I was to look for work in the hotel restaurant industry, and me do desserts. I had just completed school in pastry arts, and that was a new career change I did. And prior to that, I was an administrative assistant, and a new word processing. And yeah, it was hard for me to get work as a administrative assistant, but that's what it was. So I took my chances, and I did have a credit card, and I put the price of the travel flight, stuff on the card, and I wanted to just keep cash for food, buying food. So that's what I did, and had found a job right away, pretty close, and make a long story short, the work was very seasonal. I got there just before the holidays and right after the holidays, uh, back to square one. So I had incurred a lot of debt. I was paying monthly everything, was paying what was due when the bill was due, but it was a juggling act, and I was getting stressed out. I had also gotten a vehicle because in Hawaii they don't have mass transit as we know it here in New York City. So I had gotten a leased vehicle, and a week after getting the vehicle to get to my second job, I had two jobs. They let me go. I felt so awful. So anyhow, the bills were just piling up, and I was even getting credit cards and putting all the debt on the new credit card and just rolling it over to another new card, another new credit card, and so on. I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I thought, okay, I have to back up a little bit. When I arrived on the island, and my being a veteran, they have a Department of Labor and they have a division for veterans. And this man, his name is Browning, Mr. Browning, a nice Hawaiian man, one of the best people I ever met. I don't think he's still alive, but if he is, Mr. Browning, you were the best. No kaoi, no kaoi. That means the best in Hawaiian. Yeah, he was a native Hawaiian man. Uh, and he was a veteran, of course. And when I signed up under him, he gave me advice about looking for work, and I was proactive. I knew I had a plan of action to look for work, had a list of all the places I was going to go, and he said, I recommend you to go to this particular restaurant to look for work. And I kept a mental note of that. I said, yeah, that's on my list to go to. I do get the job, and coincidentally, the place that he recommended. So I did get the job there, and I told him that I wanted to get a second job in addition, an add-on, because I really have to pay off my bills. And he knew of a hotel restaurant, and he knew of the person that worked in there, and he drove me. See, this guy went all the way out for his veteran, man. Give him a plus, boy. Um, and before we go to the place, he was just reminiscing, talking about the places he used to go in town. This was in Wailuku, in Hawaii, Maui, Hawaii, and he went in front of this establishment. He said, "Just letting you know that this place here is a homeless shelter, and if you need it, it's available." And that was it. I kept a mental note of that. Fast forward to I didn't want to roll over my debt onto new credit cards, and I thought to myself, you know, I should go check them out, and if there's space available, I should go there because I don't have to pay rent, or at least not the same amount of rent. Pay off my bills. They had a 2-year program there. Fantastic program there in Wailuku, this homeless shelter. It wasn't just a place that you just go and have a place to lie down. This place had a educational thing, to try to educate you on certain things. Um, unfortunately, a lot of people did do drugs. They have a drug thing, a drug program. It was great. And this also was to build up your self-esteem, etc. So I called them up. I say, "Do you have a space available? I'm, homeless." They said, yeah, about whatever, etc. So I load up my truck, go to the place, and there was available spot, and then I got indoctrinated. I arrived October 1st. That's right, it was October 1st I got there. And I was still working. I did have a job. 2 weeks into arriving there, I lose my job. So now I have nothing, and I'm back to square one, I felt, because how am I going to pay my bills? It was very stressful. And I think the first 2 weeks I was there, I forget how it went. Um, okay. After I lost my job, I met up with this couple, married couple. They were from the mainland. And this was the first time I was ever at a place like this, and I think pretty much said to myself, I'm just going to wing it. Just, you know, I'm here by myself. I, at the bottom, just go with the flow. And so I went with it. And this couple, this married couple, I hung out with them for 2 weeks. And they had a car, and they drove me to this place in Tuhana. So I go to, it's a long trip. So we went there, and we also went to, get this, a nude beach. Yes, I did go. Yes, I did go. And I liked it. I liked it very much. What I liked about it was that freedom. And I didn't go bottomless. I just went topless. And I think the lady went, yeah, bottom and top. Yeah, they were completely nude. And I just had to, I was just topless. And I had like a bathing suit bottom on, and then, my flip flops. And we saw other people from the shelter there too. Some of the guys that were there, I recognized them. Yeah. And it's like, hey, I can't do. There's nothing I can do of my situation. Not at that point. It had just happened. So I said, let me take some time and just, hey, have fun. These 2 weeks. And after the 2 weeks, I think the married couple, they were transitioned to another unit. And also at this time was some new people that came in. I met a man and a woman. And the man and the woman was maybe mid-month, maybe the third week of October. And it was the lady's birthday. She was just coming back, either coming to or coming from dinner for her birthday. And there was this guy there, and he talked very loud, and he had a lot of presence to him. That was the first time I saw both of them. And then I think it was a couple of days later that the lady, she sat at the foot of my bed. I was in a bunk bed. I was on the bottom bunk at that time. And she just sat down and talked to me. And it was just, I felt like a connection. It was a really nice moment. And I was also reading my Bible at the time. I was into reading the Bible back then. And she was noticing I was looking at a map. And it was a map of Africa. She said, isn't it interesting, She said something about the African map. And it was something that I was thinking when I saw it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Africa in relationship to the Middle East. The Middle East is Africa. But either way, it was just a connection. And she knew what I was thinking, and she was thinking it too. So it just added to the connection that I had with this woman. I was in my 30s, and she was in her 50s. And the guy, he was like 1 or 2 years older than me. So as for the guy, how outside that initial initial seeing him walking into the Mills, the Mills section. I was in the women's quarters, he was in the men's quarter, and he was just walking through the lobby. But I think it was maybe the next day, I was on the chow line to get, it could have been lunch even. And he was just curious about me. I think he was standing right in front of me. And yeah, and he was asking, hey, you're a mixed race or something? So I just said, yeah, I might have said yeah, whatever. Yeah, he didn't want to ask if I was black, because I think he might have thought that would have been, too whatever. But either way, he was curious about my background, what I was. I said, what else? I don't think he talked to me after that. I mean, I don't think he said anything else after that. But people there in Hawaii, they're curious. The white people are really curious about what race or what ethnicity you are. I think it could have been then, a younger white dude asked, "Oh, I know what you are. You're a Tahitian." I just looked at him and he was real stupid, I thought. But it's really something how some, you know, whites from the mainland wanted uh, uh, label people and put them in categories. That's one thing I don't like about a lot of people from the mainland when they go to Hawaii. They want to label everybody. They wouldn't like it. But either way. So, oh, what was that? Oh, so maybe a couple of days later, yeah. This was the last week of October. It was on a Monday. It fell on a Monday. It was Monday, October 25. Uh, we may have just had breakfast or something, and I meet a young man, and he said to me, "Hey, oh, we're going to. You should go to this place. It's called Swinging Bridges. This place here that you see on the monitor. Oh, you should go to Swinging Bridges with us. It's really neat there. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you should go with us. We usually go after lunch." So I said, "Okay." So when that time came, was to go with them. Well, that young man, comes back. I'm at the car. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't go. Something came up, but so and so is still going. You can go with him." And I felt a little stupid. Um, I said, "Wow, if I say I'm not going, then it's going to look too obvious that I'm not going because I'll be going with him. I don't know him, the other guy." And it was the guy that was asking me, what my background was. The first guy, the big guy. Yeah, this was a big dude from the mainland. He was a Caucasian fellow. He had a beautiful. I'm just gonna say it. He had a beautiful body. I think he was a professional bodybuilder. He won awards. He said. I'm not gonna give his name. Uh, real tall. His body was like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was real buff. Yeah, real tall, excellent genetics, man. Oh, clean too. He was clean physically. He had good hygiene. And I was a little nervous for him because I never associated with people that looked like him. Really, he's from Cal. When I say that, I mean he was from a white dude from California, and I'm just a black girl from New York City. I just felt awkward. I didn't, you know, I never talked to someone like him before. And I was too chicken to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go alone with you because so and so's not going." He's the one that told me about it. Uh, so I did go. I was a little nervous at first, um, but let me tell you up front, I had a good time. Yeah, I had a ball, guys and gals. I had a good ass time. Yeah, I said to myself, I mean, you should always use caution, but I'm being honest about what I did. It's not good practice to go in a car with someone that you don't know. Uh, I think there is a false sense of security being in a place like Hawaii because the what they call the aloha spirit and everybody's supposed to love everybody. That is foolish. It was foolish of me, but something I did do. And let's see what else. So we drive we drove to an area I wasn't really familiar with. We started out in Wailuku, and then we had to go to this place called Safeway near the airport. And he went to get some tuna, a can of tuna, and some apples. I remember that very distinctly because he was into bodybuilding and he was careful about the type of food he ate, to keep his, I guess, his muscle mass, whatever. And I just felt like when we were driving past there, It was a new area that I haven't been to on the island, and I saw the water, the ocean, and a sense of freedom came over me. And I said, you know, screw everything. I'm just going to go with the flow. And that's what I did. And we drove to a place called Swinging Bridges. Um, it's some long bridge, and it had like a creek below, real scary to cross. And they had like this water pool, like the pool that you could jump in the water. I'm not sure if we went over, whether I went in there, but I remember a beautiful meadow. Oh, that's what I really remember. It was intoxicating, people. It was intoxicating. It was nature at best. Everything's green and lush. And I remember walking past this meadow with him. It was an open field, and there was a wild boar there. I was a little nervous. And I remember smelling the air, how refreshing it was. And boy, oh boy, when you're in a place like that, and you with a good-looking guy, and some other things that were going on with my body, um, that's like that is playing Russian roulette. Let me just tell you that. But nothing happened with us. But wow, wow, the feeling, you just felt like Mother Nature. It was the first time I really felt like that. I just felt like free. And I loved it. I loved how I felt. I was in my 30s. He might have been like 1 or 2 years older than me, and then we go back. Drove him back. Uh, Nothing happened or anything. He didn't do anything to me, whatever. But I had a fantastic time. And then we were going to go again. Go out. He wanted to take me out again. He said, "You want to go to Lahaina?" I said, "Sure," because I haven't been in the Lahaina for almost a month, since October 1st. That's when I arrived, and I used to live on that side of the island. So he takes me out there and to meet with people who were. He was in a. He had a substance abuse background. Yes, he did. I think alcohol. He did alcohol, um, and I'm sure he did other things too. Even though he was a bodybuilder, you have bodybuilders who abuse drugs, but he didn't look like a drug abuser because how fit and clean he looked. But that was his background. And he introduced some people who he knew in Lahaina, and it was very pleasant. Then we go to the shopping mall in Lahaina also. And I remember we held hands in the mall, and how I felt how natural it was to hold hands. This big, strong guy, and I was just a skinny little girl, skinny lady, you know. I was feeling vulnerable because I didn't have I lost my job and at this shelter. But I just went with the flow. Yeah, I had a fantastic time. And the other things, let's see, we go back to the place where we lived, and there was dinner with everybody, and then he wants to invite me out again. He said, "Hey, you want to go to the store with me?" I got up so fast. I was with that married couple. We were in the lounge, and I was sitting with the married couple with other people, and they were jealous that he asked to take me that I want to join him to the store. Yeah, but I go. I mean, they're married. Hey, I'm meeting this new guy for the first time. Hey, I don't have anybody. So I go with them. Well, you know something in hindsight? I'm going to say it in hindsight. I believe what happened when the guy that introduced me to him to go to Swinging Bridges, that it was a setup. that he probably recognized me in the the person that asked me about my background. He was curious about me. He liked women. He liked all flavors of women. He's not a racist. This guy, he liked any flavor of woman. Okay. Um, yeah, he was a cool dude. He was a good guy at heart, but he also had his sharper edge too. That wasn't the best. But yeah, I realized in hindsight, I think there was a setup. He asked the guy to invite me because I think we were sitting next to each other at lunchtime, breakfast earlier, and so I was kind of familiar with them. And but I think that's what happened. It was an excuse. And Tuesday we went out. Oh, in the evening after dinner, when he asked me to go to the store with him, and the married couple got jealous that I went with them in a blink of an eye. I think he thought he was going to get some. Yeah, he was like we go to he said, oh, I have to go to um what do you call it, drugstore, and he seemed like fidgeting at the door. But he bought some tobacco, loose tobacco, the one that you put in your mouth. um, I think he really, I'm gonna say, I think he wanted to buy condoms. I kid you not. I think that's what he really wanted. And I brought my Bible with me too. Yes, I did. Yeah, I was into the Bible. And I didn't want them to get any ideas. I like to have a good time, but I'm not going to share my Bible with anybody I don't know. So I remember going to the car, and I plopped this big ass Bible on top of the the what do you call it, the dashboard. Yeah, and he drove me around a little bit, and I remember we go to this high top, and you could look down below of the neighborhood and see all the lights and everything. Yeah, it had a romantic feel to it. It did, but I I I I know I'm not gonna make out with. I didn't want to do anything like that, and um, so he did lie down, and he just looked up. He didn't touch me, and then we drive back to the place we where we now lived, and we just talking and talking. Well, you know something, you don't just talk to a good looking guy in the car. Yeah, he said, oh, could I kiss you? Well, let me put it this way, I didn't say no. Man, he was a good ass kisser. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. That was on Tuesday. That was October. I looked on the calendar. What day was that year? Yeah, it was October 26th, 1999. And that was the one of the best kisses I had. Yes, it was. Yes. Um, and then the next day after that, we go out again with some of the other guys at the place. There weren't any women yet, really, at the place. Yeah, there weren't really like at the shelter. They were at one time no women. I was like the only woman. Oh, they had that married lady. Outside that, there was just me and her in the room. The men and women are separate. Um, what else? But alas, um, yeah, I was a Christian there, um, and I talked to him on the side. I think I'm not sure if I told him at that the last time we went again to Swinging Bridges, this place there, with the other guys. It was total of, let's see, him. There was one person, another person in the passenger seat. It might have been three other guys. Yeah, at least three other guys. And we were talking. I was talking to him. And I said to him, look, I don't put out. And you know, he gave me the like. He acted different after that. He acted different with me at that. He was kind of distant, and I think it psychologically screwed his mind up because I speculate he's used to getting his way because of what he looked like, right? And I said, look, I'm not that type of girl. And I think he was trying to process that information that whole trip on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we come back. I took a shower, and oh yeah, we went to the swinging bridges. Yeah, that's why we went there that Wednesday. And we go into the water where this place is on the monitor. Yeah, yeah. I got scared of that pool. There was a waterfall thing, and I went on his back, piggyback. He was to swim me. Uh, I was, he was to swim, and I be on his back, and I got scared, and I started scratching him. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people around and everything. I started panicking because I was afraid of the waterfall going down. I thought I get trapped. I don't remember how I got out of that. But either way, somehow I got out. But I was scared, scared, scared. Yes, I was. And we went through, let's see, yeah, when we were driving back home, we went through this park called Happy Valley. Oh, I love Happy Valley. Yeah, Happy Valley. It's not a happy place. It's a poor area in town, but I liked it. Just like some places, it just has a homey feel. I like places that had a homey feel. And I remember with the other guys, we're in the car. It was a real, what do you call a Maui cruiser? They call it. So it's a real beat up car that just get you to A to Z, and that's what he had. And he said, "Well, this is my car. It's what I have." I couldn't care less what type of car it was, because yeah, I had a car. I had a leased vehicle, and in Hawaii, it's not a big thing there. Everybody wears shorts, flip flops, t-shirt, and a messed up car. Yeah, um, it was about being outdoors and enjoying nature. Um, so we had dinner, and the guy said, "Hey, sit with us." So I felt like one of the guys, and I loved it. I love feeling like one of the guys. I did. Yeah, they treated me very well. They never bothered me, didn't try to get fresh, whatever, you know. But the guy that had kissed me, um, he was acting a little distant. And then the next day after that, like he wouldn't really talk to me, but I remember he was right behind me on the chow line, and he put his hands on my shoulders and squeezed my shoulders. But he wouldn't really engage in any conversation. He was acting different. He was distant. But he wouldn't, he just was paying more attention to the guys. And so I passed a note to him and said, I really had a nice time with you before, but now you're not talking to me, blah blah blah. And I gave it to him. I remember at dinner time, and then the next day after that, I said, well, "Did you read the note?" And he said, "I painfully read it." He was he couldn't deal with the hurt. He took it as a criticism. I meant to say, yeah, he took it as a criticism, and he that was the last of him, really. Yeah, I was very hurt. And so that Friday, I told to this person from church about him. She says, "Oh, he sounds like a jerk." She says, "Hey, come with us. We're going to have this Halloween party. Spend the weekend with me." And so that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I did. And Halloween's, I think it was on a Sunday. Yeah, Halloween fell on a Sunday that time. Yeah, so that's church day. And I came back Monday and just act as if nothing happened. But deep down in my heart, I felt abandoned by the guy. when a girl kisses a guy, and when there's magic in that kiss, it's kind of hard to forget. And so that lady that I mentioned earlier, who sat on the foot of my bed, and we just started, hit it off, you know, just there was a friendship, and and I was telling her how upset I was, and then she prophesied all of a sudden over me. She was a spiritual minded person, an alleged spiritual minded person, and I didn't know that she was like that. 'Cause I had just met her really, and she just started prophesying over me that I was going to get married, that I was going to meet Mr. Right by the end of the year, and by the age of 40, I would have two children. I would be in a ministry. I screamed for joy so loud. Yes, I did. I never screamed like that before. I did. I screamed at the top of my lungs. And then that married girl that I told you about, that I went to the nude beach with, yeah, she comes in the room. Well, what's wrong? What's wrong? I said, nothing, nothing, nothing. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, that prophecy never occurred. And fast forward, the lady, we kept the correspondence very briefly. And she no longer wants to talk to me. Something happened, and now she's giving me the quiet shoulder. Yeah, the quiet. Is that what you call a quiet shoulder? Um, this person I was very fond of. Um, we went to different places on the island. She was. She had a drug dependency. She was in an abusive relationship with this other guy, and I tried to rescue her, to get her away from him, and to go to the program there, where I met them. The shelter. They had a drug rehab place there too. She didn't come, but she later on, some months down the road, I met her up again. I was always fond of her, and she was very special to me. But when the prophesy didn't happen, I started to a seed of resentment came to me. And when I left Hawaii and came back to New York City, and then I eventually got my own, I got a place on my own, and she had my parents' phone number, and then my parents forwarded my new number, and we spoke a little bit. Initially, I felt awkward because I felt like, oh, she lied to me. We did talk, and then we had consequent, other conversations in the future, phone conversations. Um, but then one day I called her. I started to get I had gotten a panic attack, and I called her to try to calm down. And she got huffy with me and hung up. Yeah, she did. Shocked me. It's really interesting with relationships that people change. People change. And I think that's why I'm doing this video, that I am very sentimental, and people may be one way when you meet them, and sometimes their true character comes out. She is on social media, and for my last contact with her, I did Facebook her, a messenger on Facebook, and she did write a brief response, but she did not follow what she promised what she's going to do. And I said, I guess this is the last time I'll make an attempt to call her. I left it real open, you know. But this time, 2 years later, today I wrote her back. I said, I'm very sentimental. I want to just share with you what's on my mind and tell you how I feel. So I shared with her why it might have been an initial strain in the relationship when I moved back to the mainland, about the prophecy. I said I was disappointed that it come to pass, but that was a long time ago, and I don't feel that way anymore. Um, but let you know how you felt, how I felt about you as a person, and if you choose not to respond, that's okay too. And if you don't want to respond, I won't respond. I will not call you back again. I won't notify you again. But either way, if you decide to contact me, great. If not, I really did enjoy the friendship, and I wish you and your family well. And that was it. Yeah, it was on my mind for a couple of years, and she was someone that was very important to me. And I see that sometimes people like to manipulate other people who are in a vulnerable um, place in their lives. I didn't have family in Hawaii, and she had family there. She had siblings there and in the mainland. Um, and I think she really played up on that. But I had a fantastic time. At one point at the shelter, it was just me, her, and one other lady. All of us were black women. Um, I was the darker one. And then her complexion, she's like olive complexion. She could pass as a European. And then the other lady was a yellow color, uh, obvious of black heritage, but very pale. And it was just three of us. And I felt the whole world revolved around us. It was all girl talk. It was just all three of us. And we had the whole room for ourselves. And it was a fantastic moment in time. It was. It was beautiful. Yeah, very sentimental. And I'm not sure whether that other lady's living. She had health issues. She was 50 at the time. The other lady was 54. The one that was going on, the one that was 50, she said the doctor said that she may not live that long if she doesn't get her health together. Yeah, she had a drinking problem. Yeah, she was from the mainland, and oh wait, she lived in Hawaii, and the two girls knew each other. It turned out the two ladies knew each other in childhood, and then moved back to the mainland, both of them, and then now they both came back. So it was really interesting how life collides. Yeah, things aren't by accident. So it wasn't by accident these girls knew each other in childhood in Maui, and then they both moved to the mainland, with their own families, and then they came back as adults. And in this spot in time, there were all three of us at uh, a shelter in Maui. It was a special program they had. Yeah. So, yeah, it was just a beautiful moment in time. So I'm a type of person, I'm very sentimental, and I'm not afraid to share with people my feelings. And if they choose not to, if they want to play the hard nose, and never talk to me again, that's okay, because I got off what was on my chest, and greater is me than that other person. I believe if you can't be honest, why live? Life is about being honest and living life. Living in truth. That's me. That's my motto. So yeah. So it was this time. This time of week it was at the time with the gentleman at the swinging bridges. It was 3 days of pure fun. It was the 25th, 26th, and 27th, and uh, yeah, and then that Halloween. Yeah, it was a fun Halloween party. Uh, yeah, it was a great week, and always remember that sometimes life takes away from you your foundation, or what you think is your foundation, because it wants to present to you a new foundation. And when I was able to let go, all the pain left. I mean, your own money. What could that do to you? When everything's taken away, you still have your soul, you have your body, you have you. And I think that's also why I'm sharing this information. You may become homeless, you may lose your job, but you have you. Celebrate you. Yes. So for me, October is a beautiful time of year. It's also my friend's that female friend's birthday. Also, the I think it was last week her birthday. Yeah, and that special kiss I had, it was fabulous, man. Yeah, life is to be lived, and life is about teaching and learning about yourself, and you also learn about others. We all have our weaknesses, and sometimes some of us try to hide it in many different ways, and that's also what I learned about the experience with the guy and the gal. But where that guy is, whether he's still alive or not, um, I don't know where he is in. I don't know where he is. But the lady also that I wrote to today, the lady in question, I did inquire if he's still around, is he alive, and her brother, who knows the guy, uh, I wish them all well. Yeah. Thank you, life, for these experiences. And yeah, I was a young 30 something year old. Yep, yep, yep. I enjoyed myself there. And now I'm enjoying myself in my own apartment. I live in a beautiful high rise building with my three beautiful, beautiful doggies. Yes, I am lucky. I have my body, my mind, my health. I thank you, universe, for this opportunity, for this moment in time to give you thanks and all praise to you. May I have many, many more beautiful learning experiences. Peace, love, and joy to you all. Bye bye. Signing off.